Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, I am bringing you just a little bit of news about how the Japanese are, to some degree, receiving Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think we've already covered the fact that they're not feeling particularly great about it, especially with the way it is misrepresenting a number of pieces of their culture, the mistakes made just in the trailer alone, as well as a number of other things, not even touching the fact that they have neglected to place a Japanese male anywhere in the main cast. All that being said, Japanese players petition Ubisoft to cancel Assassin's Creed Shadows, accuse game of being a serious insult to Japanese culture and history. This is written by Spencer Bakley on Bounding into Comics. You will find a link in the description. It says, to the surprise of no one without a grain of sense, Japanese players are not happy with Ubisoft's decision to use Assassin's Creed's first official foray into the island nation as a platform for more diversity activism. Taking place in the Sengoku era of feudal Japan, the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows will tell its story through the eyes of two distinct protagonists, Naoi, a completely fictional female ninja, and Yasuke, a highly romanticized version of the real-world black African man who briefly served as a retainer to the famous Japanese warlord Oda Nobunaga. Notably, the decision to feature Yasuke as one of the game's protagonists marked the first time in the entirety of Assassin's Creed that a real-world historical figure, albeit a highly fictionalized version of them, will be made available as a playable character. To this end, believing that Shadow's portraying of Yasuke as a full-blown samurai rather than as a simple retainer was both culturally insulting and outright attempt at historical revision, one unhappy Japanese player took to change.org on June 19th to launch a petition demanding that Ubisoft not just take the game back to the drawing board, but wholesale cancel their plans for its development. So here is the petition, and I'm going to use the magic of my phone to be able to read it, since apparently the browser doesn't want to show it. The title is, "We call for the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows to be cancelled. Why this petition matters." Recently, game developer Ubisoft's upcoming release, Assassin's Creed Shadows, has been seriously questioned for its lack of historical accuracy and cultural respect. This game focuses on Japanese samurai, ignoring the fact that samurai are the upper echelon of the samurai class and are supposed to be gokinin, or servants of nobles. In fact, William Adams and Jin Miura, the first European to receive the title of samurai, served Tokugawa Ieyasu as a Hatamoto with a 250 koku command. Throughout this history, Ubisoft continues to misunderstand the true nature of the role of samurai. This is a serious insult to Japanese culture and may lead to anti-Asian racism. We call on Ubisoft to immediately cancel the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows and show serious research and respect for Japanese history and culture. I need your signature. Sign this petition to show Ubisoft the importance of cultural respect and historical accuracy. So that's what all this says. And as you can tell, as of right now, there are 23,635 signatures. Apparently 12,000 or nearly 13,000 of these people have signed today. This was started June 19th of this year, obviously. And you have a number of people saying the reasons for signing. Here is one. Let's see what they have to say. I am Mongolian, and I object to this inaccurate Japanese history. We Asians must stop this Western madness. Japan has a wonderful history and culture for waiting. Then you have a fellow who is obviously of some kind of Slavic descent. Someone who speaks English. Imagine not wanting a big company making a game with a black person smashing Japanese heads as a samurai to hip-hop music when they could have made it with, I don't know, an actual Japanese samurai. This is AAA gaming. Heck, maybe even gaming in general nowadays in a nutshell. At some point, this DEI nonsense needs to stop. We need to start gatekeeping what we love before everything is taken over. Never understood how significant gatekeeping was until practically every facet of my life that I enjoyed got taken over by DEI. This person says, I do not agree that the historical or cultural legacy of a country is damaged. Japan is a beautiful country and its history should be told and represented properly. I may not be Japanese, but deliberate distortion of historical truths should never exist. If we don't stop this chaos now, Ubisoft will go completely crazy. Let's see what this one says. This is a fantasy story in which a black baggage carrier whose real name is unknown is a legendary LGBT samurai due to the overwhelming lack of research. If you look at these fiction, you might think, well, it's a fantasy written by a foreigner who doesn't know much about Japan. I was able to accept it with feeling like, I wonder what it is. However, it is impossible to say that this is a depiction that is faithful to historical facts. It is clear that neither the developer nor the publisher knows anything about Japan, such as adding Chinese subtitles to the introductory video for Japan, but when criticized, people say people who oppose Yasuke, the black protagonist, are racist, etc., and then shift the point of discussion and label it. This kind of game, played by historical revisionists using black people and political correctness as shields, should not be tolerated. This guy seems to have a very thought out response to this that is probably a little different than what most people expect, so I would like to go ahead and read it. This says, I was an Assassin's Creed fan, but I'd like to comment on this incident. I respect the developers, and as a Japanese person, I am proud that Japan is the subject of the game. I think there are two major problems with this incident. One, even though it is based on historical fact, there are mistakes that even a Japanese elementary student would notice. Two, I don't understand the apology to Japan in Ubisoft's official opinion and announcement. Regarding one, first of all, I have doubts about whether they really appointed Japanese experts. First of all, the 4 seasons are out of sync, and in the midst of the cherry blossom scenes, there are scenes of rice planting and persimmons being sold. I feel that it's strange if the person in question has at least lived in Japan. As for the tatami mats, there's a term called 4.5 tatami mats, and one tatami mat is rectangular. It is also at a level that can be pointed out even by foreigners visiting Japan. Regarding Yasuke's appointment, if it were fiction that portrayed a black man as a samurai ignoring LGBT issues and political correctness, I would be completely tolerable. However, I just feel uncomfortable with the farmer bowing to a samurai who is just a private. This is the same as asking would a civilian bow to a private. The fact that there are so many signatures and so many complaints mean that it is obviously a very immature mistake about Japan. At the very least, I think Ubisoft should apologize or correct the above misunderstanding of Japan. Regarding point 2, there is no respect or apology for Japan in Ubisoft's official response. If anything, I think this is the bigger problem. To be honest, it's a game, so even if there are misunderstandings about Japan, I think it is tolerable to a certain extent. First of all, why did you put Chinese subtitles on the trailer for Japan? I live in France, but I can get German subtitles. This is so sloppy, a barbaric act that cannot be described as being done by a professional or global talent, that I feel they should have made an immediate apology. Furthermore, I don't think it's the kind of mistake that an organization, if it's embellished, then it's no longer historical fact, right? It's contradictory. I have no complaints about Ubisoft releasing a game that has been made more interesting by fictionalizing it. However, I believe that Ubisoft should sincerely apologize for its mistakes. So, very realistically, he's probably hit the crux of the matter. Yes, a lot of people are upset about the fact that it's a fictionalized black man, but overall, if we weren't in the time and place we were, I think there's room that people would have accepted this once upon a time. The addition of the LGBT stuff, along with the numerous mistakes regarding Japanese culture, basically makes it absolutely abhorrent to most sane people. There are, of course, always going to be those diehards who will love absolutely any slop given to them. But in this case, there are a lot of people who realize that, yeah, while they didn't go a direction that they necessarily anticipated, there's so much more wrong beyond just Yasuke. There's so much more wrong that they just ignore. Using Chinese on a Japanese trailer, needless to say, or well, maybe not needless to say, the Japanese and the Chinese don't really get along very well, to put it mildly. There's a number of issues between those two cultures, and I do believe that a number of Japanese people would find that very insulting. The little bits and pieces about Japan itself, not tracking the seasons correctly, not using the tatami mats correctly. We discussed earlier that Nobunaga's symbol was upside down on his clothing. There's talks of the gifts that they're giving out having incorrect kanji on them. Just so many little issues that add up very quickly, and all to say that Ubisoft really isn't putting the care in that they're claiming. They claim that they got historical experts and Japanese cultural experts, but what did these Japanese cultural experts look at? Why would they say things like the Japanese regularly beheaded people? That was not a common thing that they did. There's so much wrong here that I'm not surprised that this petition has nearly 25,000 signatures, and I'm sure it'll jump faster now that people are calling attention to it. I will be including a link to the petition in the comments. I feel like it probably holds more weight if the majority of it remains signed by Japanese people, but at the same time, I see nothing wrong with adding your voice if you really choose to. That said, what are your thoughts? I've been told time after time again that these petitions don't really do much, and honestly, I don't really anticipate it doing anything. But on the plus side, it does give people a way to judge approximately how many other people feel the same way they do on a thing. And it gives us a way to judge further going forward. All that said, if you would like to support the channel, please consider becoming a member. You can do that down in the description or anywhere else. If you can't, I'm just glad you're here. I just know that if I don't mention it occasionally, you won't know it's there. So thank you guys for all your support. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.